Hey everyone, LSP Leech say, how you all doing? Hopefully having an awesome day so far, and welcome to another video. So today we'll be talking about one of Fortnite's biggest mistakes in my opinion, and we're just gonna have a little talk about it. I don't feel like enough people talking about this, and maybe it's just me with my, single opinion. I've heard some people share the same opinions about this topic, and I just thought it'd be a pretty cool topic to talk about. So without further ado, let's talk about why adding Dusty Divert into the new map was a terrible idea, and Fortnite's probably one of Fortnite's biggest mistakes. But before we do that, let's jump into a game of solos. So before we get started, let's talk a little bit about Dusty Depot and obviously the origin story of Dusty Divert and why I have such a big problem with this whole transformation in the map. So obviously this meteor was a massive part of Season 3 throughout the whole season, to be honest.
Talking about how tilted towers may very well be destroyed by a meteorite that is getting closer and bigger every day in the sky above the Fortnite Battle Royale map.
Oh yeah, so like I was saying about the meteor, a lot of people think it's getting bigger. Let me see if I can see it. Where is it? There it is. It actually doesn't look like it's getting bigger.
Okay, so the Morse code, dude, like on the Xbox or the PlayStation, certain times of the day, there are small vibrations, dude, in the controller, right?
What?
And some guy deciphered it to literally spell out like SOS, and then like something else, and SOS to save our souls, and then the N5 or D5. D5 is tilted towers. So you're saying that tilt is going down, man.
And everyone thought it was hitting tilted since it messed up the flow of everything, and obviously the map was always concentrated towards the tilted towers area, but it actually did in fact end up hitting Dusty Depot, and obviously it created a massive crater which is now known as Dusty Divert. Now most people love it, I guess, some people hate it, and I'm one of that small majority. And I'm going to be telling you why. Now, first of all, when Dusty Divert was obviously added, it was a major change to the map, and it created a load of flow change. I mean, there were stages in the map, and in some games, tilted towers would be completely empty. No one would be there because everyone would obviously be going Dusty Divert because, well, it was a new location. And obviously, that's the same when Epic Games always add in a new location. It's interesting. Why would you go to tilted towers when a new location that has a big impact on the map? It doesn't make sense. So obviously we can see Dusty Divert here. As you can see here, it's a massive crater, and it takes up such a large amount of space. Now basically the only construction and the only really place that you can find loot, to be honest, is this little square box, like where the construction is. This is all of the buildings that are located in Dusty Divert. Out of this whole big crater, this is the only place you can go to, basically. Which is pretty disappointing. Out of all of this that you could go to, this is where all the action happens. It's like one big courtyard, which means that all of this land is filled with rocks that are obviously cool, but I mean, I don't like them anyway. But there's just a lot of empty space. I mean, you can't really do anything except try and climb your way to the top of the crater. And obviously I understand that it goes with the theme. There's a massive crater. Why would people be building on it? But when you approach Dusty Divert, if you need to get a chest or something along those lines, it's not like going into a place like Salty Springs or Retail Row, where you can obviously find a chest or find some loot in a really quick time. No, you have to travel down this whole meteor. You have to travel down this big crater just to get some loot, which isn't guaranteed. And since it's such a popular area, it's basically tilted 2.0, or at least that's what I like to call it anyway. Obviously, again, it's a new location, and obviously people would be directed and attracted to the new location, but I just don't feel like there's enough loot to go around. And leading on to my second point, that is kind of linked with the fact that it's a lot of open space, is the fact that it's obviously in the center of the map. Since it's in the center of the map, coming from locations like Salty Springs, which I land at most of the time, every circle is usually around in the center of the map, so obviously the majority of the time you will come across Dusty Divert, and I'd always come across Dusty Depot. I mean, in the old map, I would always pass Dusty Depot, and sometimes I would go in it, sometimes I'd pass it, but most times people do cross and go in that area, which brings obviously a load of attention to this location, and every time that you get here after the bloodbath has started at the end, bringing the population of this game down to 50 players, all the loot is gone. Obviously all the loot is gone and there's nothing to do. And then once you've got here and climbed all the way down, which can kill you, by the way, this area is pretty much empty when it comes to loot. And I guess it isn't technically empty since there's rocks and little cars and all of that, which don't really feature chests, to be honest, and there isn't at all a good opportunity for loot. But as you can see here, all these consumables which could have been swapped out for loot. And obviously I'm not asking for this whole area to be covered in gold scars, but I feel like dotted around this area could have been a few more pieces of loot. Like maybe if you are in an intense battle and someone is chasing you with like a, I don't know, like a pump or something, and you could just literally just run out of this facility and then find something like an assault rifle or something that you know, you can fight and defend yourself, you know, something that you can just at least defend yourself with, then that would be good. Then give Epic props. But there's just nothing that you can do in this massive area, and it's really boring to be in. So in general, I do feel like they have kind of done a disappointing job with creating Dusty Divert. I do feel like they missed out on a good opportunity. Obviously, when it comes to spawning more loot locations and not just focusing in this little center of the Dusty Divert. And obviously, when you're in it, it doesn't feel that big. But when you look at it, look how small the actual facility is. And just tell me this, what would you prefer, loot or little jump rocks that last about 15 seconds? Like, just tell me. But my main 2 points, I guess, are just, it's empty. And obviously, Dusty Depot wasn't my favorite place in the world. Like, you know, I didn't go to it every game. But a lot of people did like, it was always in the center of the map, which meant that if you did drop there and did clear out the people that did drop there as well, then you'd always be close to the safe zone. You'd probably get a lot of exciting battles and not just killing like 2 people at most. And because they haven't got a gun to defend themselves with, because, you know, well, you took it. So the reason I made this video is because I don't really go Dusty Divert, and I felt like it was bad that I wasn't visiting the new location as much as I should be, because this is a big deal. I was so excited for the meteor, and everyone was so hyped around the meteor, and I think people made way more videos and got so much more excitement, and I think the meteor itself and what it was going to hit got so much more excitement than the new location that was because of the meteor. Now maybe they will actually develop the map in terms of like creating structures in this area. They may build a city on it, they may do something that isn't a research facility, and I guess it is just at this stage where obviously they can't do much because they're trying to keep it realistic, and obviously they can't add buildings and structures because that wouldn't make sense with the whole plot of the meteor. I feel like they could have filled it out with a bigger research facility maybe, but I do have a solution. As you can see, this video is called part 1, and I'm super excited about this video because this is my first 2-part series. What I thought would be funny and kind of making a darker situation and a more depressing situation happier, I thought it'd be pretty funny for part 2 to try and rebuild Dusty Depot.